Woods is an associate fellow at the Institute for Policy Studies. She joins me now to explore the situation in Mali. Emira, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
As Sean alluded, a lot of people watching the news at home, when they heard about this, they immediately thought, is there a connection to what unfolded in Paris a week ago? And it sounds like to me there is not a connection. You have two groups of bad guys, one ISIL, and these guys appear to be an Al-Qaeda linked group.
Well, I think it is critical for us to understand that there are particular issues going on in Mali that result from realities on the ground in the region. And we have to be clear, this is rooted, really, goes back to 2011 with the ouster of Gaddafi and the destabilization of Libya.
In Libya.
Right? You had a steady flow of weapons out of Libya into Mali. So these extremists essentially took that opportunity to seize ground because of a region that is politically isolated, that is economically underdeveloped and ignored, has been since the days of colonialism, right? It's an area completely marginalized in spite of the richness of Mali, in mining in particular, right? This region was neglected. And so you had basically extremists taking advantage of an opportunity to seek greater political power and really to kind of create an autonomous country, essentially, in the northern part of Mali.
So what do you know about this group, Al-Murabitun, an Al-Qaeda splinter group? What is it that they want, Emira?
Well, again, we have a region in the northern part of the country. The Tuaregs have been neglected for far too long. So they were clamoring for greater political recognition, visibility. This was the root of the crisis. But more recently, you have had a peace process that's been, to be quite honest, going on in spurts, but not really taken seriously by the international community. And so the peace agreement was finally, since 2011, finally signed in June. But then now there are problems with that peace agreement. So what is needed actually is understanding the root causes of this crisis and putting attention not to further troops and drones and military hardware on the ground, but really to looking at ways that the political crisis can be resolved, that there can be attention to actually negotiating a path to peace that is firm, that there can be economic development in this region that was so marginalized and devalued for far too long.
And of course, Emira, the problems you're talking about, Mali is not alone in Africa. There are a number of other countries who are dealing with what you're talking about. So are you concerned that this kind of insurgency can pop up again in other places? You've got Boko Haram in Nigeria. You've got chaos and instability in Libya. And there are many other countries nearby. Are you worried that this is going to spread to other parts of Africa?
Well, part of the problem is, as a human family, we have responded in the wrong way. This global war on terror is the wrong frame, and we've got to move away from that because it has instead created more instability and more destabilization.
Killing people is what the problem is. They're killing innocent civilians.
Right, so how do you deal with that? Stop this almost recruiting ground for extremists. Pay attention to issues like young people in Mali and in other countries without jobs, without a sense of a future. You have to be able to address the root causes of these crises. Otherwise, we continue this downward spiral where it pops up from one country to the next. And we see, I mean, the numbers are escalating now. Today, in days past, these numbers, horrific numbers of innocent civilians being killed.
So you think the international community has failed this part of Africa?
Without a doubt. The U.S. has focused on building up its Africa Command, AFRICOM, and you see the results have been disastrous. It hasn't brought greater stability, it's brought more instability. It's not going to be through drones. It's not going to be through greater military boots on the ground from the U.S., from France, or any of those countries. It's going to be addressing these root causes, creating a human security that meets the needs of people, particularly young people that need to see a stake in their own future.
And they need to see hope.
Without a doubt.
Emira Woods, thank you so much. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.